All right, Nick, let's talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Big victory over the Louisville Cardinals, a heavily ranked team that, a team that came in pretending, they could give Notre Dame a little bit of trouble. Not the case. Notre Dame comes out victorious. And because of that, I think a massive flip has landed in the favor of the Fighting Irish. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. Right, Nick, as I alluded to, coming off of a massive victory against Louisville, Notre Dame able to flip a great player in their direction. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about all of this on the other side. Actually, a tweet from over on Hayes Fawcett on 3 Sports says, breaking, 4-star athlete Antavious Richardson has flipped his commitment from USF to Notre Dame. He tells me for at On 3 Recruits. The 6'1", 180-pound athlete from Greenville, Georgia, has committed to the Bulls since June. He says, I believe in Coach Freeman and his program. I think this team is going to be special. Go Irish. Nick, I think this is a really great move for Notre Dame. I think they had some really smart strategies they employed to be able to get this flip to come to fruition. And I just think overall, using the momentum off a big victory to get something like this done, really great job by Coach Freeman and co. Curious what your thoughts are on this one. But before we get to you, Nick, Notre Dame fans, in the comments section below, bye week, a little time to sit back, reflect on the season thus far. So while you're doing that, while you're thinking about the games to come ahead, let us know who is your MVP of the season so far. Let us know in the comment section below who really stood out to you, who is the MVP of this team for this season so far. Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this massive flip for the Fighting Irish?
Yeah, I think it begins with who my MVP is, and that's Coach Freeman with what he's done in terms of having this team prepared week one, bouncing back from that just incredibly disappointing upset defeat, and then coming back with a vengeance over the last few weeks, and always being on his game recruiting wise. That's one of the underrated aspects of Freeman and his staff. He's done an outstanding job. When Kelly left a few years ago, the question was going to be, how could they maintain recruiting? Recruiting is a 365, 24/7 endeavor. You always got to be recruiting, especially in season. That's where you can get the most value a lot of times because you're playing football, right? Your best sales pitch is your product on the field, and Notre Dame is taking advantage of that, of what they've done over the past couple weeks. Because if you look at the timeline, according to 24/7 Sports from Antavious Richardson, look at this timeline. So August 30th, right before the season, Louisville offers Antavious Richardson. September 20th, Richardson officially visits Notre Dame. They win the football game. October 1st, 2 weeks later, after beating Louisville, Richardson decommits from USF and, of course, now commits Notre Dame. That timing is not a coincidence. Louisville was one of the top players or one of the top schools, I should say, in the running for Richardson, even though USF had previously secured his commitment. I think a lot of people agreed that was not a likely long-term bet for USF to hold on to a talented prospect like Richardson. But again, you use the in-game opportunities, right? You bring him in for a visit, you get a big win, you handle business, and then you go out and beat Louisville, one of your top competitors for recruit. And what do you know? Surprise, surprise, the recruit wants to play for the winning side. He commits to you. This is how it gets done, right? You take advantage of opportunities. You bring him in for an official visit the week before. You get him, you show him a good time, you give him your sales pitch, and then you go out and handle your business the following week and win over that recruit. This is outstanding work by Coach Freeman. This is all part of a plan, all part of a long-term strategy. Trust me, they don't have Richardson come in a week before Louisville for no reason at all. This is deliberately planned and wonderfully executed. Great job by the Notre Dame staff here.
Yeah, Nick, and I think it's really interesting the strategy that they took. It's not anything necessarily groundbreaking, but I think one thing they did in particular really helped them win over this recruit. Obviously, play on the field has a massive factor in here, but this is, a little icing on the cake. We all know that this guy was highly recruited. Even the likes of Alabama was going after him. Everyone wanted this guy as a Georgia product, a kid coming out of the state of Georgia, which I think is important as well. But everybody wanted him as a DB. Everyone tried to recruit this guy as a DB. He's a big-time athlete, quarterback, all kinds of stuff in high school, but everyone was going after him as a DB despite him wanting to be a wide receiver. What does Notre Dame do? They say, hey, you can be a wide receiver if you want to. You're just a great player. We want you on our team. I think this was a really great move by Notre Dame, just saying, hey, we know what this guy wants. We can use that edge to try to, court him as a wide receiver, bring him over to Notre Dame, even though we know he's a talented player, talented playmaker. I think that's really great because if you're Notre Dame, you could tell him, anything he wants to play. Once you get him to your school, get him on the field, start getting him in that rhythm, I don't think it's going to be very hard to move him around, get him to where you want him to be. But initially recruiting him as wide receiver, saying, hey, we hear you, we hear what you want to do. We're going to let you be a wide receiver. We're coming after you, recruiting you as a wide receiver. I think those are really smart moves, despite everybody else wanting this guy to be in the defensive backfield. So something small, something really not too important, but I think it's one of those Marcus Freeman things. Been recruiting so hard, so well lately. He's learning the little nuances, and it's something as small as this that compiled on big time win versus Louisville and all of these other great things Notre Dame has been doing that can really help you flip a recruit in your direction. So overall, really great performance by Notre Dame.
Yeah, and just one final point to end on. You hit on the fact that what Notre Dame and Freeman are doing here, it's not a groundbreaking strategy. But when it comes to recruiting, sometimes it's not about the strategy. It's about the execution. Like we always say on this channel, it's about getting these kids to sign on the line that is dotted. Freeman's done a phenomenal job of that. His staff is solely focused on that effort. Again, it's about execution, and Notre Dame has done a great job in that department.